I was unfortunately last week in a hospital with my wife, thinking that she's having a stroke.
Wow.
And had 8 doctors around her. But sitting in the emergency room, I was like, okay, what have we been focused on that doesn't really matter? Like, I gotta keep going back to like, it's the love fully. My first truth would be to love fully. Don't hold back on the love.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, we've all been there when we were kids. Like, you know, you wrote a book about being, I'm gonna blank on your masculinity.
Masculinity, yeah.
Yeah, but like, you know, a lot of times when, especially guys, like
being vulnerable and
being vulnerable, like we're sometimes like when you're young, you're afraid, like, you might be in love with somebody, but you're afraid to tell them, right? And oh man, I want to make. Don't be afraid to tell somebody you love them.
Yeah.
Love fully in the relationships that you're in. You know, I was unfortunately last week in a hospital with my wife, thinking that she's having a stroke.
Wow.
And had 8 doctors around her in the emergency room.
Wow.
And I'm like, wait a minute, we're going to Italy like in 94 days. She can't be having a stroke. Like this is how life works. And then she had to go have an MRI, and I'm waiting in the waiting room for hours. This is Wednesday. And I'm like, oh my God, like my whole life has just changed. Her life has potentially just changed. My whole life has changed. That's how life is. And I started thinking about our last 11 years together. And it's amazing because I told my wife I loved her and wanted to marry her and I told you this actually perfect. I told her I loved her, wanted to marry her and have children with her before I kissed her.
Wow.
Which is insane, but it was true.
Crazy.
And you know, we've had an amazing 11 years together, and I had not fully done that in the past, and I was like, this is the girl I gotta love fully. I gotta not hold back. But sitting in the emergency room, I was like, okay, what have we been focused on that doesn't really matter? Like, I gotta keep going back to like, it's the love fully.
Wow.
So that would be number one.
That's powerful.
And
is she doing okay?
she is doing okay.
That's
you
good.
know what? She came out with a complete clean bill of health, and I think it was stress related.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Probably changing your whole life around.
You know, we had just gotten back from Florence. We just got our lease signed, and it's been a lot of stress. Because,
wow.
by the way, sometimes going for your dreams is stressful.
It can be.
The second thing I would say, it's actually the core of this book, ironically. The very back of this book is a lesson from my grandmother that my grandmother shared on her deathbed.
Wow.
At 86, my grandmother had a stroke, and I didn't know she was going to die, and I was finishing Smart Women Finish Rich, and I asked my grandmother, because she knew I was dedicating the book to her, I said, Grandma, do you have any regrets in life? And she proceeded to go through her regrets going back to being a teenager, and she went through 5 of them.
Oh my gosh.
And in those regrets, she said, it's not about the individual things. She goes, my regrets were, I came to a fork in the road. And there was one road that had more risk, which is where all the gold was at the end of the road. It was what I really wanted to do. And then there was a safe route. And she said, at every regret, I took the safe road.
Wow.
And she's like, I know. And she's like, I'm sitting here now at 86. And she said to me, and I'm going to die, and I'm not going to leave this bed. And I was like, no, Grandma, I'm getting married in 90 days. You're totally getting out of here. You're coming to the wedding. She's like, no, I'm not. And she said to me, I'm here to tell you that you're young. I was in my 20s. She said, if I can give you one last lesson and gift, and she's like, and you should share with other people, and I do a lot from stage. She said, tell people when they get to a fork in the road that there's going to be the little boy or little girl inside of them wanting to take the risk. Like, you're going to get to these forks in the road, and there's going to be a little boy inside of you that wants to go take this risk. And then there's going to be a big boy inside of you who doesn't. And she's like, listen to the little boy. And let him come out and play so that you don't turn around at 86 and wonder what you should have done with your life. And then the third thing I would say, this is probably the hardest one, which is forgive the people you're mad at.
Gosh, it's so true.
And if you need to say you're sorry, just say you're sorry. And there's so many things below that, but like right now, everybody who watches this, for the most part, there's somebody in your life that you're not talking to. You had a falling out, and it hurts you. Say, forgive and say you're sorry. And if you're not gonna actually bring this person back into your life, then figure out a way to forgive them on your own so that the pain that it's causing you can go away. Because if we hold on to that resentment, that pain eats at us. That's where disease comes from. Like we could do a whole segment on health, but like that's where the pain of life comes from, and that's why a lot of people get sick and die.